how would you like to make your first million? And today we have Stephen with us, which is the only, and listen carefully, the only, the original, the salon guy. So tell us, Stephen, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to achieve first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited
Pleasure.
to talk with you. It's really interesting. 3 of them right off the bat are my new book. If you can answer those 3 questions, why do you want to do? Most people can't really go into it that deeply. What are you going to actually do? And then how are you going to do it? Those first 3 things are essential because why is your foundation. It's your fuel. It's your source of what inspires you every day. A lot of people don't understand what they're actually going to do because they think, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. They're very lost. You need to focus on, and then the third one is, how are you going to do it? All right, so you understand what your driving fuel is, your driving motivating source. And then what are you going to do? You're going to make videos about this. You're going to be whatever it is you're going to do. And then how are you going to actually do it? A lot of people overlook the technicality of how they're going to do it, how they're going to film it, how are they going to edit it, how are they going to, build it, how are they going to do it? And then the next part of it, it's really about understanding what can you do to make money. What is your true actual skill set that is going to bring you revenue? Because a lot of people want to start something and they don't realize, well, 1, that's not really my specialty. I'm not an expert in that. And 2, they just think they're going to get a lot of views, build something big on social media without really understanding that there's no money in what you're doing and the way you're building it. And then lastly, the 5th thing is you need to have a clear vision, right? Everybody always says, be passionate. You've heard that a million times, be passionate. But do you realize you could be passionate and be broke? You could be very passionate about something, but there's a difference between being passionate and being an entrepreneur with understanding what you can do to make money, right? I see so many people coming up with content ideas and trying new things and trying this and trying that. And, I want to be a media personality. I want to be an influencer. When they create something just out of their own ego. Meanwhile, they're not getting any views. They're not getting any traction. Nothing's growing. They're not making money. And I'm like, well, that's because you're not really honing in on what your skills are. You have no vision on how to create something that's going to generate revenue.
That's fantastic, Stephen. I always say that a lot of people say, okay, when you're going to create the business that solve a problem. I say, well, solve the problem that someone is willing to pay. Because you can solve a problem, but if nobody's willing to pay to get this problem solved, we're not going to go ahead further, right?
Yep,
so
exactly.
Tell us why you decide to become an entrepreneur, why you decide to become the salon guy. I like it. It's amazing. The name, I like it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
So tell us why you decide to become an entrepreneur.
Well, I've worked for major companies in the past. When I was very young, at 21 years old, I worked for a company you may have heard of called L'Oreal.
Wow.
one of the biggest beauty companies in the world. I worked for L'Oreal Professional when I was 21 years old. And I learned about branding. I learned about what it's like to represent a major multi-million or billion-dollar brand. And everything I said when I was working for them, I had to speak that verbiage and be a true representation of the product line and of the culture and of the vision. So I learned that at a very young age. I got an inside scoop, but that wasn't handed to me. I had to earn that. I had to go through a lot of steps and phases to even earn that. Yeah. And then I ended up working for another major company, hair care company called Paul Mitchell, which is still around. And, what I learned was that I have my foundation. I've seen what's out there. I've seen the ups and downs. But then I realized I need to do something for myself that these other companies are not going to do for me. Only I can build something how I want to build it, right? And a lot of times, as employees or working for companies, we're always chasing that fame or that success, or maybe I'll get that promotion, maybe I'll get that new title, and sometimes it never happens. And other people get it,
It
and you're
happened
like,
to me. It happened to me.
probably a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't have
And
a long career as an employee, only very tiny, like 5 years. But when it happened, when I was an employee, this happened to me. All the people getting promoted, things like this. I'm like, what?
Yep. And then you quit, and you get, it hurts sometimes. You get jealous. Just, hey, how come they chose him and not me? And so I decided that, when I went on and I saw this YouTube video and I read this book, I realized, like, you know what?
Which book? Which
It's
book
called
is
Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Crush It. It's an older book, but I would suggest reading it because that was what started it for me. And he lists out, it's really how to turn your passion into a business. So my passion was the hair industry. After I graduated high school, I worked at a hair salon. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't realize I want to do it full time. I just needed a job because I wanted to be around pretty girls. I was like,
great idea.
I want to meet women. And then I went to beauty school and I learned and really entered the career and the profession. But I realized that these big companies weren't really going to do for me what I was in it, but what I can do for myself. So I got the fuel. The why was reading that book and getting inspiration from family and stuff like that. And I said, I'm going to start something. But the thing that's interesting, Harry, is that when I first started, it was so new that I was one of the first creators in the hair industry to create a media presence for myself 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, YouTube was new, Facebook was new, Instagram didn't even exist back then. So, I used to go to these hair events and these hair shows, and I'd have a camera guy with me, and I wanted to be a media personality. So I would interview hair salon owners and hairstylists, and people were like, Stephen, because they knew me, they're like, the Salon Guy, that's so cool. And I was just sharing information.
I love the brand. The brand is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. But the thing is, though, Harry, how we tie it into entrepreneurship, because it was so new back then, I had no idea how to scale it to make money. Okay? It was all about...
Well, nobody has 15 years ago. Who's gonna know? It was just all this concept about personal branding and so on didn't exist back then. It was only a corporate brand, right? You have L'Oreal, you have a corporate, and everybody knew about corporate brand, about exactly what you described, how to have a corporate brand, how to nurture this corporate brand, the mission, the values, the culture. But nobody was talking about personal brand. Nobody's talking about that the person can also have a brand. So, and then there you go with this amazing name that, in my opinion, you see, it's a personal brand. Nothing to, it's not corporate brand. You are the media person. You are the brand, right?
Yep.
And it's like it was. I think you are one of the pioneers in this in this space. Yes.
Yep. And thank you
for saying that. Honor that you're here.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you. I mean, and that's what happened was. Now, how I decided, Harry, this is the thing also, is you've heard people say, be patient, right? And be patient. Patience is very difficult when nothing is coming in as far as money. Now, I was building a lot of sweat equity. What I was doing for my brand, interviewing celebrities, going to major red carpet events, scaling my personal brand to where I became somewhat of a celebrity and being on television and building up that equity. To then people started coming to me, asking me, saying, Stephen, can you do what you do for us? And I was like, what do you mean? Like what? They're like, well, you make these amazing event videos and you make you're a media personality. Can you be our media personality and scale up our events? I was like, I guess, yeah. I can. Then I started putting together
I'm doing it for myself. Yeah.
But I was actually going to get paid thousands of dollars for it. So I'd start charging thousands of dollars, and then I'd be flying all over the place and being a host at their events and making their events more lively. And then some of them kept going, some of them just stopped doing it, and that was, I had my nice run doing it, and then I created my hair product company, and to this day, really my main primary source of income is my hair product business and my YouTube channel. So YouTube is a whole other source of revenue, which is really fluctuates. But at one point, I was making six figures just on my YouTube, you know? So it all really
Very
just,
impressive.
yeah, but right now YouTube is very, very difficult. Even my views have gone down. My ad revenue's gone down. For me, really, it's about, I use it for a source just to stay relevant, and it helps me market my products. But
Yeah.
so it's a great source, and it's become my go-to for that credibility because I'm one of the
100%.
yeah.
100%.
It's because of people can go back and look and say, wow, he has over 3,000 videos, hundreds of millions of views and all this stuff. That's the equity.
Exactly. And everybody will say, I want to buy his product. Because you definitely position as the authority in the marketplace, because it's proven, it's a public, you have a public social proof, what we call it, that these people, this amount of followers, I have to tell you, that's lots of followers, a lot of work. Building that equity, that brand, that personal brand that you started to build from the early beginnings. And I understand what you mean, because this is what it takes to build the brand. You see, you put effort and you work, and you say, well, when this is going to pay off? Okay, this is when the moment will pay off, when you launch a product, yeah, and now you have all these, you have that credibility there. I think that authority in the marketplace, I think that's even it worth more than what YouTube can pay you. And yeah.
And that's the thing is, how do I even say this? Muchas personas no tienes dedicación. Right?
There's so many people that are committed to that.
Right. But the thing is here's another thing though, is once you break through that threshold, and that's the thing is staying within the realm of your space that you can capitalize on it, right? You can, and now what's also interesting, Harry, and you've probably seen this before because this happens all the time. Right now, I'm talking present day, 2025, April 15th, and just 2025 in general. What's happening is there's so many quote unquote, experts, and there's so many people in our space of what we do as entrepreneurs that are selling a gimmick. They're selling themselves as true experts when they don't really have the street cred. They've been a quote unquote influencer for, I started my YouTube channel in, 2023 and now I'm selling courses and I'm making $6 million a month selling courses. And I'm like, how? Like, what? And people are buying into that somehow. I say to myself, I wish I could be that guy making $2-3 million a month selling courses, and I have 3 times as much credibility and social exposure as this person, and I'm not even trying to do that. Mm-hmm. So we're in a world right now, right? We're in a world right now in a space where entrepreneurship.
And worse, people buy into this. People buy into it's happening everywhere in the space, yeah.
And the thing is that. I don't know what gets people to what the sales. I think even me, because I've purchased some of these $97 normally $36,000. You're getting it today for $96. I'm like, what? I see all the time, and I think to myself, like, well, you know what? It lured me in somehow, and I spent $97, and then I walk away going, like, what even was this? Like, how are these guys? So they're using sales tactics, and entrepreneurship really is a lot easier to start now in 2025 because of so many tools, so many resources, and you can get rich fairly quickly. You can make a lot of money fairly quickly if you sell your soul to the devil. If those gimmicky, salesy kind of things that people will buy into, we're almost manipulating them. People like myself, the OG, the original, who have been building and building for many, many years, more of a slow growth. So I'm in it for the long run. For me, even my business has gone down a little bit, and I'm in 2022, I hit my
first million,
and then 2023 it went up even more than that, and then things started to kind of. Yeah, I try, but thank you. But the thing is like, it's not the easiest. It really comes down to sales. That's what entrepreneurship and making millions of dollars, whatever, it comes down to sales, right?
Yeah, but in the end of the day, we always share this with the entrepreneur, right? Like first-time founders, they always focus in the product. They love with the product, and then they have a product, and then they go out and trying to sell it. Second-time founder, they focus more about sales and marketing. They are more give more priority. What are the sales and marketing strategy they're gonna use to sell that product? And market if they're gonna buy this product. Yeah, so then after they have this survey, this whatever, then they go back and create the product because they already know what market's gonna buy and so much. But something more impressive what you did, and this is what I call the third time founders, the third round of founders, is that those entrepreneurs that create that market first, and after you design a marketing strategy, and the last thing that you do is allocate the product, which is exactly what you did, which is today we can talk about this, but 15 years ago, this didn't. Yeah, so
No.
you are a pioneer not only in the area of the personal brand, you are also a pioneer in how business, in my opinion, should be conducted today in order for the entrepreneur to have a sustainable growth. Because if you create that market, you didn't know that 15 years ago, you are by creating this, by creating this community, you did create your own market. And yeah, it can sometimes sales go up and down, but you know what? You depend from anybody. You have your own market there, and your market buy the product from you because they like and trust you, and you build this for 15 years. Some people might buy more, some people might buy less, 1 year more. You can launch another product. So because this market is you already created, and no one can penetrate this market. No one can access to this market because you did it for yourself. So now you have a market that you created, and then, well, you need to design sometime sales and marketing strategy just to target to your own market because your own market, you need to go to take market for anybody. It's already yours. And then, well, designing products and services, it's again, know more your market, know what they need and problems, and try to design to launch a new product or not, and sell market and continue. And I think, million followers in YouTube is a lot. Yeah. Is
Thank
yeah.
you.
We
I
have
know.
like 15,000 and have
Yeah.
been a lot of work. More
Yeah,
than I
I know.
thought. So this
It
YouTube
is.
thing is a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And again, we are doing it because we love it, but also because exactly what we described to you, right? So after owning so many businesses, by now we already figured out how things how the dynamics of this work, and it's a great idea for all entrepreneurs out there if they can reverse engineer and follow the steps that you described, that you kind of did it by accident because you started to you want to that's one question I want to ask is about corporate versus being your own boss. We have a lot of people in your same situation, right? That they are working L'Oreal, they're working in a corporate brands, they're getting paid good money, very good money, and but they have this I can do better, I can do it by on my own. I want to have my own business. Where do you find the courage? Because in the end of the day, it take a lot of courage. You working in L'Oreal, or you already have working in the other firm that they pay you good money. You go to work Monday to Friday. Weekend you don't need to worry about anything. You pay good money. So where do you find the courage to live this comfortable life, to go to the really uncomfortable life, which is become an entrepreneur and start to build equity with your brand? And hey, you're going to all these events and you need to get a camera guy with you to put in your YouTube channel, but you have to pay this guy. This guy's not coming for free. And now you're putting all those videos on YouTube channel, you're not making any money. Then another event, you're paying this guy and you're paying and paying to build this man that you don't even know how you're going to capitalize in the future. So
Well,
how to where do you find the courage to go to do this, and what advice do you have for people listening now in corporate that they are dying to become their own boss, they're dying to have their own market, they're listening to this podcast that they envy you because now, Steven, you are in the position that you have your own market that you can sell whatever product you want and they will buy it from you, more or less. But I'm it's my understanding that can give you a very decent lifestyle. So, what advice do you have to the people in corporate right now?
Listening to you, Harry, I'm listening to you and I'm going, wow, he actually sounds like he's been there before. From what you said, I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh my God, he gets it. There's so many people who don't get that, and it's very discouraging. So when it comes to people who are working a corporate job, hey, there's this thing called job security or benefits, 401k, paid vacations. I gave up all that stuff years and years and years ago. And
took a lot of courage.
Yeah. So the courage.
Where do you find the courage?
The courage comes from your why. Why do you do? What's the driving source? A lot of people's whys is a major tragedy. It's in their life that brings them so low that you have to rebuild to go that much higher. So the why is of motivation. It's your source that drives you to keep pushing, to not give up. Everyone has some sort of something they've experienced that they can look back and reflect on and say, you know what, that was a tough time in my life and I overcame it. And you have to go back to that as your fuel. Everyone needs fuel, So for the people,
what happened? Your colleagues at work, they were saying that you were crazy. They are all wishing. They are wishing that you failed because like this justified that you the wrong decision. How about family? Do you have any support somewhere? Because I've been there also.
Yeah. Well,
and it was tough because I lost all my friends, my family. There is no entrepreneurs in my family. Only my grandfather, and he died when I was very young, so I couldn't talk to him. But after that, there is no entrepreneurs in my family, and oh my God, it was top I have this why, and I feel that I can do something. A lot of people talk again, try me to say that this is a very bad idea. So tell us in your situation, do you find any support somewhere or it was tough with the people around you?
Yeah, there are two ways I want to answer this. The first part is in the work environment. I actually had people making fun of me. I had people who didn't believe in me. Oh, what's Stephen trying to create? Oh, why is he it's so stupid? Oh, he thinks he's going to be famous one day. Meanwhile, these are people who are never going anywhere in their lives. They don't have the courage to be an entrepreneur. So it's always those ones in the background. And if you are watching this or listening to this and you are around those people, trust me when I tell you, do not let them get in your way. Because I used to get affected by that. And I go, oh boy, Melissa at work thinks I'm never going to go anywhere. And I heard her making fun of me. What's Stephen going to do recording? Oh, that's so stupid. I realized, listen to them because they're in the same spot 10, 15 years from now or even worse. So the first
when they will arrive at work and say you don't need it anymore. And now you're in a big trouble. You only have one skill because that's what you get at a job. You have to be very good at one skill and one skill only. When being an entrepreneur, Stephen, you need to have a lot of skills. Yeah, look at you have 1 million followers. People don't understand nothing for you to have 1 million followers. The amount of skills that you need to have good in camera, good in content. You have to arrive on time. You need to be good at lighting. You need to know many things. Yeah, that so many things that if you want to find a job tomorrow, you can put in your CV 10 different things and you will be hired because
then back. So then the second part of that on the support system from people, I had my, some people who were supportive, not supportive, family,
friends, family. The people that support you. Who are these people?
I had to make a lot of sacrifices. I lost a lot of friends because Stephen, you don't hang out at the bar anymore. You never want to go out anymore. And I said, I'm not going to become successful drinking until 2 a.m. 4 nights a week. I'm sorry that I want to change my lifestyle, but I don't want to be getting home at 3, 4 in the morning wasted. So I had to make a lot of sacrifices, and some of the best another book that I read, it's called Me Inc. by Gene Simmons. He was the founder of the band Kiss.
Wow.
And in the book, he says you have to be selfish when it comes to building your brand. You have to turn away family, friends. You have to not let that impact you because they have no idea.
That's a good brand,
What?
Kiss, by the way. Good brand.
Yeah. Yep. Me Inc. by Gene Simmons, one of the best books I ever read on branding and stuff. So the support system is hit or miss. To this day, present day, and I'm going to tell anyone who's listening or watching to this, you have to rely on yourself being your biggest supporter. Right now, I blame myself if something doesn't grow, if something doesn't go right. I only blame myself when I put the full responsibility on me. Now, if you're working a job or doing something and you hire someone and they screw up, well, obviously that's them. But
Yeah, you can say even this is not my job.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's it.
Well, that's not my job. Well, when you have your own company, everything is your job.
Yeah. But when you start hiring other people, they mess up, that's on them. But when you start to put the pressure on yourself, right now, I tell my certain friends of mine, my small group of friends, and they don't really understand. Sometimes they understand, sometimes they don't. I go, look, I can only blame myself. And then some people who aren't in that same position as I am, they say, but they question that. And they go, yeah, but you work so much and you need to do this and you got to make. I said, look, I know what I need to do because I've already walked down that road before. I've had some amazing highs and I know how I got there. I've also had some lows and I know how I got there too.
Like everybody else, like all entrepreneurs.
Yeah. The thing is remembering what you have to do to keep that height. So that's why I say I can only blame myself. If my sales are low, it's my fault. If my content sucks, it's my fault because I know what it takes to make great stuff. So if 100%. If we're slacking as entrepreneurs, our business is going to be impacted by it directly.
Yeah. But then at the end of the day, Stephen, it's where it comes to work and for you to that brand, like for example, I always say to the people, all I have is my name, Harry Sardinas, and my company, Speakers Alias. Everybody knows that Harry Sardinas is founder of the Speakers Alias, and what we do, we train entrepreneurs how to grow the business from the stage, right? How to turn from local to a global brand. And I got invited to speak at several events. Now, even recently, I got invited to speak in a high-profile event in Dubai. Unfortunately, I cannot make it. So I got invited to speak at a lot of events and hang out with a lot of celebrities and so on. But even this podcast, right? We already interviewed with 500 millionaires, and my calendar is full, and people keep showing up. They want to, they want to be in the broad podcast. Our team has to even cope with it, you see, because after we have to put in YouTube, and the job that goes behind and so on. But years of building this profile, years of building that name, that brand, where now actually you capitalize. This is the beauty. The beauty is that when Stephen, you create your own market, and I think you should be very proud of yourself because very few people, they and same people, right? Because you can build a brand, a corporate brand, okay, and that's okay. But once you sell your company, that's it. It's finished. You sell brand. This brand is owned by somebody else. Okay, you exit. You have good money, but the brand is gone. However, when the brand is yourself, then every time that you need something, there you go. You have your market already that you created. So it works in a long, like I said, because I have that name. And then I built Harry Sardinas on my brand Speakers Ideas. I've not had to prove anything to anybody anymore.
What's interesting, Harry, though, have to interject what you're saying because you're bringing up a lot of interesting things that I want to touch upon. The first thing is with people who are working a corporate job, but they feel like they have something else to offer, right? I mean, this is kind of fairly basic stuff. You can make the transition financially. That is when you realize it's time to jump ship. I've heard this from many, many successful people. You heard it and said it. You work your 9 to 5 job. Let's just say hypothetically you're making $50,000 a year, US dollar, whatever. Just say $50,000 a year. You got your job. You're working 9 to 5, but you have something that you're so passionate about that you know you can make money from. You have to start doing it part time and building it slowly and slowly and slowly to where you're making 50 grand a month on your own thing. Then 100%. You can leave.
I agree 100%.
And you have to make those sacrifices instead of coming home and going to happy hour at the bar con amigos y amigas. What you need to do is you need to work and make.
That's how I did it. Right. You know, when I have my job, I was when I arrived before I was working in Spain. I worked 5 years there as a software developer, and then I went to London and I started to work in a bar. English it was not good. In a pub, yeah. My first words in English I learned was beer. I was for the British people. What are the British people? So I want to learn English, and they were all in the pub. So I ended up working there to learn English. But then at the end of the day, then after I in that pub, parallel working in this pub, is when I started to build my property business. Yeah. So the point of the story is that, and it's 100% agree with what you said, Steve. People in corporate, they should, if they want to move on, they want to get out of this golden cage that they are, because it's a golden cage. Yeah, you have this big house, you have this big car, you have the other day I was in London, yeah, like 6 months ago, yeah, and somebody told me, Harry, I'm going to India. And I said, wow, you're going to India? Yeah, I'm going there to see my family. I said, how long are you going for? And he told me a week. And I told him, man, you crazy. You know, from London to India, and you're going to go only a week to see your family. Why you don't go a month? Go out. Because this is what is in my mind. Every time that I travel, I take longer. Because I said, well, you know, now that I'm done on traveling. And the guy told me, Harry, the problem is I only have 5 days holiday left. And I'm like, man, I forgot. So distance for that concept that it doesn't goes into my mind that people have a cap holidays. And the other day, somebody else also they were doing the holiday, and they went to a very expensive place. They spent so expensive holidays, and I'm thinking, guys, you know, why you spend so much money on the holiday? And the answer was, Harry, you know, we only have 2 weeks of holiday and we spend working the whole year. So in these 2 weeks, we don't care and we blow it. And I'm like, man, you know, it sucks, right? But this is how everyone, that's what I say when you trap in golden cage, okay, what we're talking about. But on the other hand, Stephen, not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Some people want to get out of this golden cage, but you need to, I see founders, yeah, that they have the company, yeah, and they create the product. And I said to the guys, look, guys, you need to the founder, you need to focus and learn more about sales and marketing and to bring how to get the product to market. Have a good product is not going to make it. And the founders are telling me, Harry, this is not my job. And I like, this is not your job? That's your answer? I think that if this is your answer, you should go back to corporate. You know, think that you want to become an entrepreneur, but you're behaving like so many people get out the golden cage, but as soon as they find out that they need a lot of skills and there is no this anymore, and sometimes the weekend you have to stay and until you don't this problem and so on. And yes, you can go after 2-3 months holiday when you put off and solve the problem, but when the problem is there, because I have in my business what it was 2-3 years. My first business, I think, yeah, 3 4 years without taking even one day off until we managed to put it was on autopilot. And it was running by itself. And we sit there at home making the money and doing nothing. But it took 4 years to actually build it, right? So
it's also interesting, Harry, on this topic, what you're talking about. There's also a lot of people, and I know some people personally, that they want success. They want to, I want to grow media. I want more sales. I want better at ads. I'm just going to hire somebody. I'm like, you can't hire someone when you've never done it yourself.
100%.
You're going to have no idea.
You need to know basics.
Yeah, you have to be able, everything that I do, I've learned on my own. I know about running ads. I know about videography. I know about editing. I know I'm a very tech savvy person. I know about e-commerce. And the only reason I know about this stuff is because I've done it. And when I've hired people to do it, I know why they suck. A lot of people automatically go to, oh, I'll just hire somebody and pay them and they'll make me successful. I'm like, it doesn't even work that way. It doesn't work that way. You can't just expect to pay someone to do something for you unless, let's just say, okay, fine, you hate it that much and they're so good that you just want to rely on them. Okay, fine, maybe. But nowadays, it's very, very different. You need to learn at least the core fundamentals of what everything is,
Yeah. And then, and at the beginning, when you build in this business, this 4 years that we're talking about, there is no resources. You don't have funds to pay everybody. Yeah. You have to learn.
And
you need to learn how to do it, because when you started the business, I couldn't say, well, I will hire you. Well, when I didn't have money, I had to fix it myself. I had to do it myself. I had to do the site myself. I had to do, when it was a problem in the painting in the properties that I was managing. Well, I go there and I paint it myself. I don't have resources to pay anybody. I remember when the business was moving forward, everything was broken, and you will see my manager, oh, can you go and paint this? Can you go and fix this? And I'm looking at them and say, wow, this girl, how easy they have it. When I was building, it was not like this. I had to do it myself, everything, right?
And what's also interesting, real quick on that, is you mentioned earlier on that when I was going out video and having camera guys, believe it or not, Harry, a lot of people volunteered their time for me because they saw how passionate and how committed I was. I said to them,
Amazing.
I'm not making any money. Some people, I said, here's like, $10 or $20 for gas or transportation. Wow. And they said, Stephen, the reason that we're doing this is because we see how committed you are. And when I tell you, Harry, I worked so hard to achieve what I did.
I can tell.
And when someone that much and they want to support you just because of how passionate and driven you are, that's pretty incredible. Again, 15 years ago, it's maybe different now, but that I'll never forget people who always dedicated their time or took a $20 pay to go with me because they saw and they believed in me,
So, Steven, tell us about the book. What is your favorite chapter? Where people can find this book? Why you wrote this book in the first place?
Yeah, well, what happened to my camera here? Hold on. A second here. Give me a second.
Just follow it a bit.
There we go. I don't know why I had it was on for some reason. I didn't even hit the tracking. But what happened was the book. This is technically my second book, and it's called Why, What, How. And one thing about this is it's a tactical handbook. It's a very, very tactical handbook that gets right into it. It's a short read, 110 maybe pages or so.
Where can we buy book?
It's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple, anything. It's available in Kindle, softcover, hardcover. So it's all over the place. It's just being distributed all over. And the thing about this is I wanted this to be a no-fluff book. It gets right into what you need to do to understand what your why, what, and how to do it. So far, what people, and this hit #1 bestseller too in marketing on Amazon, and also I think entrepreneurship in marketing or something, but 3 categories. But it hit #1 in marketing. This outperformed Alex Hormozy and Russell Brunson for a short time. I don't know how, but it did. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yep. So,
See?
but yeah, but a chapter, what it has have these sections. They're called accelerators, like the why accelerator, the what accelerator, and the how. And what it does, these are it's like an hour where you dive in and answer some questions, and it's like really gets right into it. It's a really hardcore book as far as like strategy. There's not a lot of storytelling. You can actually click the QR code in some chapters like this, and you can actually watch a video of me talking about it. So it's pretty cool.
Wow, fantastic. Very good. Yeah.
Yep.
So, Stephen, tell us, if people are in love with our conversation, how can they find you? What's your YouTube channel? How people can learn more about you?
Yeah, so literally you could just type in the Salon Guy, all one word, on Google. All my social media handles are the Salon Guy, all one word, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. Even, I'm literally all over the place. I have hundreds and hundreds of pages of me on Google, and my YouTube channel is the Salon Guy, where you can actually go back 15 years ago and see how I first started.
Wow, that would be fantastic. Wow, 15 years ago.
Over 3,000 videos.
3,000 videos. Oh my God.
Over that. I think about 3,100.
Videos. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a lot of videos, yeah.
It is. It is.
I think
I'm all over the place. I'm easy to find. Very easy to find.
Okay, Steven. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much. And for all of you following this broadcast, see you now on next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Steven break that wall and achieve the first win. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.